Cap. And good morning again. And of course, that is his eye is on the sparrow. And this sermon is over the scripture found in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, verses 26 to 42. And part of this is from which the inspiration for that hymn comes. So have no fear of them, for nothing is covered up that will not be uncovered, and nothing secret that will not become known. What I say to you in the dark, tell in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim from the housetops. Do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. And even the hairs of your head are all counted. So do not be afraid. You are of more value than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who acknowledges me before others, I also will acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But whoever denies me before others, I also will deny before my Father in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And one's foes will be members of one's own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly, I tell you, none of these will lose their reward. Well, this covers a fair distance of things that we want to talk about, and we'll try to be brief. First of all, at the very beginning of that, we're talking about fear. Fear pops up in there 3 times. Do not fear, rather fear. Don't fear the things of this world, rather fear that which is eternal, is basically what we're getting at there. But then Matthew comes to tell us in verse 29, are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. There, that dollar amount is roughly a 16th of a day's wage, is what the translators say. So that would be, what, a half an hour in our time, though I suspect in their day, 8 hours was probably a short day's labor. So we're probably looking at, maybe we could easily say, roughly an hour's wage is what that's talking about. But in the scope of all things, what is 1 hour of your life? What is that? That's nothing compared to the cost of that eternity, that immense life, and this little time that we spend here on earth, and we have all of this other time in our day, is what in our life is what we're getting at here. And then we have that very, very slanted and offensive verse about, and even the hairs of your head are all counted. Scotty and I decided that was really an offensive verse, isn't it, Scotty? Because, you know, that implies that some have more worth than others. But no, that's not at all what it's getting at. I'm being silly. None of us, not even Scotty and I, are able to count the hairs on our head, but we have a better shot than most of you. But that's the point, is that that's not even one of those single hairs on your head will fall without God knowing about it. And are you not worth more than those many sparrows? And we're going to come back to the sparrows at the end. We'll start with the sparrows, we'll end with the sparrows. So we'll move on here. Whoever acknowledges me before others, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. The idea there is going back up to verse 27, where we're called to speak this message from the housetops. We're not supposed to keep this quiet. We're not supposed to keep that light under a basket, are we? That's not the point. The point is to share. And that is what we are called to do. And that, ironically, leads into what we talk about next, this division, this discord. I tell you, do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. That troubles us, doesn't it? This is these are verses that are troubling to us. We don't like them, they're uncomfortable. We don't move away from them. We don't want to preach over them. But the point there is that yes, we strive for peace on earth, right? We try to reconcile people here, but we also know that true reconciliation only comes where? Not on this abode. It's in the next. We really, truly can't have peace here. Because the problem is when you speak truth to people, there's always going to be somebody that finds that truth offensive because it identifies their sin. And the one thing that none of us likes is when we're reading Scripture and we go all of a sudden, oh snap, there's that, remember that finger I talk about all the time? Well, guess what? It's always there. It's always pointing at you. And just because it's pointing at you doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's corrective. And Scripture is supposed to be corrective. And part of what we do is supposed to be corrective. We're not supposed to judge others, but Scripture is there. And if we truly can come to someone in love and say, listen, I'm concerned about this. Now, they may not like it, and that's very likely. And this is why we have this division. And that sword will cut sometimes because nobody wants to see their own sin in Scripture. We'd rather rationalize it away. We've gotten really good in the modern age, but I think it's been that way since the beginning. There were the Gnostics, after all, and there were others that were rationalizing away their sin. So, 37, it says, whoever loves mother or father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. That again is troubling. The point is we're supposed to be devoted to God first. Okay? Our first devotion is to God. Because if we don't have God in this world, what good is it going to do our loved ones? It's not going to do a whole lot of good if we're not loving God. If we don't bring them to love God, what good did we do them in this world? Most of us have flown. Who's all flown on a commercial airline? Everybody's flown on a commercial airline, pretty much. If not, you've seen movies where the stewardess is up there giving you the instructions, right? These are the instructions of what you have to do. And when they get to the oxygen mask, what do they tell you to do? You don't put the oxygen mask on your family member, do you? Your child there that you love so dearly. Do you put the mask on them first? No. You're supposed to put the mask on yourself first. You're supposed to get that life-giving oxygen to you so that then you are able to help them. Because you can't save them if you don't save you. And it's really very similar to what's going on here. You need to cling to God in order to help them to cling to God. Because if you walk away from God, guess where they're going? They're going the same way you are. And was that really loving to them? No. It wasn't loving to them at all. That didn't help them at all. That did not save their eternal life. That may have made things easier here on earth. We may have had more peace on earth because of it, because we weren't trying to point out to them that they need to come back to God, or to come to God for the first time. Now, I'm not saying we need to be abusive, nor that we should be obstinate and all of that in our efforts to bring our loved ones to Christ. Rather, we have to be a little more sneaky than that. You need to use love, and you need to use some tact, and you need to have a long-term plan. So you work through it day by day, encounter by encounter, moment by moment, and you slowly work towards bringing that to God. Because you can't just try to snatch it away, because that will truly be that sword that may cause a division that you may never heal. And that's not the goal. The goal is to bring them to God. And so it might take you a while to get that oxygen mask on. They might struggle with it. But if your loved one was struggling with you to get the oxygen mask on, would you stop trying to put the oxygen mask on? I would hope not. Whoever does not take up the cross and follow me, that is Our cross is to spread God's love. I mean, that's what we're called to do. We are to be disciples. We are called to be disciples, not just the pastor. It's everyone. We are to be a body of ministers. That is really what Baptists and disciples both early on. It was about a congregation of people being disciples. And discipling means you go out and get other disciples. So, with that, let's return back to our beginning, our hymn, and the verses up there talking about the sparrow being of no worth. This is a time in our history when we wonder, is God really there? Where is God? What's going on with God? We're worried. We can be very scared. We can be very nervous. And we can think that God has abandoned us. But here, Matthew is reassuring us that no matter what, fear not. God is there. He watches even the sparrow. And in the verse of the hymn written by Bill Gaither, if I'm pronouncing that right, his eye is on the sparrow, it starts off, why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, my constant friend is he. How can we be discouraged and how can we worry about those shadows? How can we be down and out and lonely when we know that Jesus is our portion? Though truly, I think in these times that we have to be honest with ourselves and realize that we are guilty of thinking, oh boy, I'm ready to leave this world and go to the next. I've had about enough of this one. But that's not the point yet, is it? We must still supposed to be struggling with an oxygen mask or two, or else Jesus would have already come again. Second verse, let not your heart be troubled. His tender word I hear, and resting on his goodness, I lose my doubts and fears. Go by the path he leadeth, but one step I may see. And that is truly, that one step I may see. We are reassured by this knowledge of God, but at the same time, we can be frustrated because that flashlight on those steps that we're taking through this life is kind of a dim one sometimes. And we only see one or two steps at a time. And the part of it is that faith, and we've talked about this before, another sermon, a lot about faith is believing that step's going to lead the right way. And that we just we take the step that we can see with the light that we have today. And right now, that light is telling us to keep going and keep enduring, keep loving, and keep spreading God's love. Whenever I am tempted, whenever clouds arise, when songs give place to sighing, when hope within me dies, I draw the closer to him. From care he sets me free. And that's the point. Whenever we draw close to Christ, we draw close to God, we truly should be able to feel relief of that worry about this world. And that's why we need to, maybe like no other time in our lives, we need to be sitting and reading and meditating and praying. And of course, the refrain from this pretty much says it all. And this is the part that everyone knows. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. For his eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. He doesn't let that sparrow fall unnoticed, and he will not let you fall, not even one hair on your head. So fear not, folks, for God is good.